Well, doing the documentary right now is very therapeutic for me. I'm in therapy right now, still. I think therapy is good for the soul and for, just me in general. So it was really therapeutic to go back and get out all the cobwebs and, clear my conscience and move on with life.
Bobbi Brown scored his first hit single, Cool It Now, back in 1984, while he was a member of the R&B group New Edition. And 4 years later, he released his first #1 hit as a solo artist, My Prerogative. Today, Bobbi's extraordinary resume includes more than 32 million albums sold worldwide, 7 gold singles, and a 1990 Grammy Award for Best R&B Vocal Performance for Every Little Step. The 53-year-old artist's latest project is a brand new documentary simply titled Biography, Bobbi Brown.
The biggest misconception of me is that I really give a about what anybody feels.
The 4-hour film will premiere on A&E over the course of 2 nights, Monday, May 30th and Tuesday, May 31st.
Bobbi Brown is electric.
Fire. Phenomenal. Bobbi Brown is phenomenal.
Bobbi Brown is a cat with more than 9 lives.
Deeply personal and often emotional, Biography Bobbi Brown is the definitive look at the life of the R&B legend. And Bobbi's wife and manager, Alicia Etheredge-Brown, serves as one of the executive producers.
This project is a passion project of mine to have, the subject be Bobbi and all of that dynamic of what it is and the person I love and my partner. So I'm so proud of it.
Make your own decision, make your own assumptions on who Bobbi Brown is.
We were definitely interested in doing something that was authentic in Bobbi's words, and you're hearing his story from himself. I mean, we obviously did a book, which was beautiful. Bobbi's book was a great step in this direction, and timing is everything. So I think the timing was perfect when we decided to do this.
It took a lot. It took a lot. A lot of encouragement from my wife and my kids, but basically, wanting to clear some things up, clear my head of all the guck that was in it, made me, just realize I had to.
And also, we see in the documentary how your world around you, your environment and your community and, just in the thorough of where you grew up, how that affects him in his life. And you carry that with you since you were young and how it may have played out later in life for him. So when he says it's therapeutic to go back, it is good to look at it with fresh eyes, right? And to know, wow, I really experienced this. At that age, we look at our children now going, wow, he was at Cash's age when he saw that, witnessed that, had to endure that. And so, yeah, that perspective is interesting as well.
The documentary spans Bobbi's entire life and career, including his early days growing up in the projects of Roxbury, Massachusetts, where at age 10, he was sexually assaulted by a Catholic priest.
It was definitely a surprise to me that it actually came out because I had tucked it down so deep into my soul that I didn't think that I would talk about it again. But talking about it really helped me get through a lot of other things that had been bothering me, especially that really bothered me, as a child. And as a grown adult, I think it was parts of the reason I did other things, drugs, alcohol, while I abused myself. But being able to talk about it and get it out helps a lot.
By the late 90s, Bobbi's struggles with drugs and alcohol were becoming increasingly public and led to a string of arrests. But in 2000, while serving a 75-day jail sentence in Florida, Bobbi was finally able to quit hard drugs.
It was rough. It was really rough. Because I was so addicted, I had to be put into medical detox, first. And then the Bible got me through. Holding ceremonies, not ceremonies, but, little get-togethers with other inmates and reading through the Bible and just worshiping and praying and praying and praying. Prayer got me through a lot of everything. It was about just becoming healthier within myself and knowing that I had to be healthier for my daughter and for the rest of my kids is what kept me.
The documentary also delves into Bobbi's nearly 15-year marriage to Whitney Houston, which ended in 2007. In the divorce, Whitney was awarded custody of the couple's only child, Bobbi Kristina. At the time, Bobbi also had 3 other children, Landon, LaPrincia, and Bobbi Jr.
Anytime that I could spend with my kids, I would. Anytime I could get them all together would be the greatest time in my life. I take pride in making sure that they know each other as well as they possibly could know each other. So trying to get with them as much as possible was my goal.
I remember a lot during that time because I remember in their grown-up lives, LaPrincia and Bobbi Jr. coming to stay with us, and we did a lot of holidays.
Yes.
Yeah, and Landon was always around because he was local with us. And then Bobbi Kris as well. Anytime he could pick her up, anytime they could go eat, anytime they could go shop, anytime they could just go hang out and be goofy together, he was gone and he was there. And they were doing that regularly while she was here in Los Angeles with her mom. So I remember those happy times as well.
Yeah.
While Bobbi was able to kick hard drugs, his ex-wife Whitney continued to have her own struggles with addiction. Tragically, in February 2012, she was found dead in her bathtub while staying at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. The cause of death was later determined to be accidental drowning, heart disease, and cocaine use.
I thought she was getting herself together. I thought she was, really doing a good job at trying to get sober. I didn't think she would turn back.
The shocking 2012 death of Whitney Houston made international headlines. When Bobbi heard the news, his first thoughts were of their then 18-year-old daughter, Bobbi Kristina.
I knew she would be just gone. Her mother was her best friend, and I knew that she needed me, more than ever.
It was very hard. It was a very difficult moment. I mean, I'll never forget when I heard of her passing, and I immediately crumbled, and I thought of his daughter, their daughter. I thought of Bobbi Kris. I thought, oh my gosh, please get her through this. I can't imagine. We just have to get to her. We just have to get to her.
But getting to Bobbi Kristina wasn't easy. In the documentary, Bobbi discusses the long and emotional journey to see his daughter in person.
About 3 years,
Maybe.
about that. Maybe about 3 years.
From the moment of flying home, getting in the car, going towards where we were told she was, and him actually, I'm coming to you, and then reaching her was a very, very long time.
And then her not being there and where she said she was, and
Yeah.
they would move her.
But there were many reasons and many people orchestrating that. So unfortunately, it was heartbreaking to experience. Then obviously, they finally got in touch. They were having a lot of phone conversations,
Yes.
which was great. And they planned their own meeting, and it happened, so.
That was beautiful. Just anytime I could even be on the phone with her, FaceTime with her, was something special. Because her growing up and me being in the household, we were always tight. just knowing that I get a chance to see her physically, that was more than enough for a lifetime, just to spend a couple of hours with her. We stayed in touch as much as possible. She was scheduled to come stay with us for a little while, right before the accident.
In January 2015, Bobbi Kristina was found unresponsive in the bathtub of her home and was rushed to the hospital, where she was put into a medically induced coma. She died 6 months later. The cause of death was ruled to be a combination of drowning and drug intoxication.
She's here. She's here with me. She'll be with me forever. And she's not going anywhere.
5 years later, in November 2020, Bobbi experienced yet another heartbreaking tragedy when his 28-year-old son, Bobbi Jr., died from an accidental overdose of alcohol, cocaine, and fentanyl.
With Bobbi Jr., that came to me in such a horrible way, because I had been, the night before, I had been just thinking and calling him and calling him and calling him and calling him and couldn't get in touch with him. I knew he was where he was at the apartment. I knew that he, usually would be playing loud music and doing his music thing and have a bunch of people there. Did not know that he was, experimenting in drugs. I knew my son smoked weed, but other drugs I didn't know that he was indulging in. And to find out that that's what eventually took his life was just a shock to me.
It's just a shame. It wasn't happening under our nose and we didn't see it. It recently happened and it took him. And it was like, what is this lesson for, right? What is this? Like, we just have to listen to the lesson. We just have to speak the lesson and expose it and let everybody know that it's real and it takes once and it takes you away and that's it. And we don't want anyone to have to go through that.
No, I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
Shouldn't be experimenting at all, but if you do, and a lot of young people do, you take something that's fatal. That's like, there is no shot, there is no high, you're just gone. And that's how we lost him.
I didn't have many dreams about Bobbi Chris before Bobbi Jr. died. But then all of a sudden, floods of dreams just come to me, and I always see them at beaches or in fields, and I'm always trying to get to them, and they're laughing and they're running away and they're running but they're laughing. So to me, that just lets me know that they're happy, they're together, and they're always together when I dream about them. One doesn't come without the other, and I just keep seeing them happy. And that's enough for a father to feel like, God has them, my mother has them, my father has them. And that makes me get through the day a little bit easier.
Bobbi and Alicia were married in 2012 after having met more than 20 years earlier.
This is like early 90s.
Early 90s. Well,
No,
89,
like 89.
89,
yeah.
88.
Actually, like I was just coming out of high school. And Bobbi and I were friends and we were into the same things and our friends knew each other's friends, and that made it really easy for us to be around each other. But he was full of life.
I was full of something.
I was being kind with that word.
Years later, Bobbi and Alicia were able to reconnect after Bobbi's 2007 divorce.
He was in a pretty sad place. He was in a sad, but you saw the light in his eye. So it wasn't like his worst place, but I saw him dealing with heartbreak. He was going through a divorce, trying to figure out how to be a single father newly to Bobbi Kris and how they were gonna work that out. That was a real heartbreaking time for him, how to figure that out. This family dynamic was shifting for him. And also I saw him fighting, I saw him fighting to get back to his music and to what he loves and starting to finally love himself first and foremost. So that was what I saw. I saw my friend. I was happy to see him. I was happy to see him in a healthier place. And from then on, he was just,
Hey, what you doing?
Can I hang out? Can we talk? We were talking about music, we were talking about business, we were talking about people that he was now in LA working with. It was anything and everything, and I saw him getting excited again about himself and life. And so that was how it all began.
Today, Bobbi and Alicia have 3 beautiful children together: 12-year-old Cassius, 6-year-old Bodhi, and 5-year-old Hendrix.
I think being a father for me has been so rewarding. Just being able to love someone with just no attachments, just being able to love genuinely. That feeling is unexplainable.
Oh, you gonna wipe my kisses off?
And being a father today is just like, it's rewarding, but
Exhausting.
it is exhausting. It's so exhausting.
Knew he was gonna say that.
Being 53 years old and having a 5-year-old child it's something different. It's something different, but it's so loving because she is so loving, and my kids are they're just everything to me, So I just love it. I love it.
Bobbi and Alicia's happy family is the focus of Bobbi Brown Every Little Step,
Everybody excited?
a new 12-episode docuseries which will premiere May 31st on A&E.
After the documentary, which will air the 30th and 31st, you'll see a 1-hour special on Bobbi Brown Every Little Step, which is a little bit of, not a little, a big peek into our lives.
Yes, I'm with my children and my wife and
Our world.
and what we do, as far as business is concerned, about how we love each other, how we handle business and love each other at the same time.
This tour, this show is 2 hours long. But as long as we got you sober, man, I'll take you any way we can get you.
Part of the new series will show Bobbi preparing for the recently completed Culture Tour, which was headlined by New Edition and included concerts in 30 cities.
The tour sold out left and right. Everybody was so ready to be out and enjoy it, and nostalgic music and, feeling it all, and they gave it to them. It was amazing to watch.
Generations were there, generation from grandma to grandfather to kids,
Little ones.
to the grandbabies, to the little ones. They were just all there. We saw all ages, so it just made us feel really good. But it's been a lot of work. Now, before, it was just, I could run out on stage and entertain at the drop of a hat. It didn't take much. Now I'm 53 years old, and it takes some getting, some ice in the knees, some Bengay. We should have been sponsored by Bengay because a lot of us were falling apart out there. You wouldn't be able to tell it on stage, but we were falling apart. And we should have had, a sponsorship with Bengay or somebody.
Or cryotherapy.
Icy hot. Somebody.
Icy hot.
The tour was absolutely a great thing for me, great thing for us. for the Brotherhood of New Edition, for my kids, you know, seeing me out there again, and at this age, you know, out there having fun. So
He acts like he's 80. It's like, come on, boo.
50 something, man. I'm 53.
I know he's been doing it for a long time, but
Since I was
I
14,
definitely-
13, 14 years old.
I know, boo.
Yeah.
I know, you're so good at it.
You said Noble? You want to go to Noble?
He's thinking about food. It definitely is giving you a pep in your step
Yeah.
coming back.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.